All right, got another question from a teenager for you, and it goes like this. How do you let your parents know that you don't like them going through your room and your phone? Very good question. I'll tell you what not to do first off. Don't tell your parents, it's my phone, it's my room, you don't have the right to go through it. Because technically it's probably their phone and they probably pay the mortgage or the rent at the house and it's their room. If your parents, like most parents, they've probably reminded you before that they own the stuff or that they pay for it. So definitely don't start off with that. Oh yeah, and definitely don't say things like, how would you guys like it if I just went through your phone and your room whenever I felt like it? Again, not the best comeback. In fact, it's going to cause contention, frustration, usually an argument of some sort. So instead, you are going to use a Jedi mind trick. Step 1, you should use a Jedi mind trick I call Captain Obvious. Here's how the Captain Obvious mind trick goes. You state the most obvious things, you give appreciation and gratitude for it, and at the same time, you take away your parents' biggest complaint or frustration that you've heard from them quite often. You just didn't realize that it's something that you could use in your behalf or to help you have a conversation with them. So you start off by telling them, thank you for my phone. Thank you for my room. I know I don't usually show gratitude, appreciation for these simple things, but to be totally honest, I am thankful for my phone. Time out. Even if you don't like your phone and you wish you had a better one and they didn't get you the 12 Apple iPhone and they didn't get you the Apple 12 phone for Christmas or whenever it came out, you do not say that. You say thank you for the phone that you do have because technically you'd rather have the phone you have right now than nothing at all. So thank them for the phone and thank them for the room. So you simply state two things that your parents do agree with you on, and that's a good way to start the conversation. I want you to state something that most parents have said to their kids or at least think or feel. Here's what they think, and here's what most parents believe. You're spoiled, you have way more than they ever had growing up, your life is easier, and because of that, they need to toughen you up and take you down a notch. So something you can do to help them recognize that you're not oblivious to this, that you realize that you have it very easy and you're not going to fight with them about their life being harder than yours, that their life obviously has been harder than yours. You simply tell them, I know in today's world, a lot of teenagers have it easy. I know that I have nice things and most teenagers today have way nicer things than their parents did. In fact, I can remember lots of experiences that you guys have said that your life has been much harder than mine. So I want to let you know straight up that I do appreciate these things and I'm lucky to have these things. I'm fortunate. Okay. At this particular time, you're going to get your parents' attention. Now, this is very important to get their attention. This is a big part of this whole entire mind trick because it's hard to manipulate or convince or persuade people to your opinions if they aren't paying attention. When I've told this to teenagers before, they told me, well, if I tell my parents this, they're going to know something's up and they're going to get really suspicious and curious about what am I getting at. Exactly. That's the point. See, everyone has a huge distraction in their life. It's one of these. Computers. So if you're trying to ask your parents for something and to take you serious, you want their attention. But what if they're on their phone? What if they're on their computer? What if they're running around doing other stuff and they're really just kind of partly paying attention? They're not going to hear everything that you're saying. It may cause another argument or fight. So you want their attention. So once they see that something's happening here, they're going to pay close attention because they're not going to want to get manipulated or taken advantage of. Then you tell them, you're probably wondering why I'm saying all this. Well, I wanted to talk to you about my phone and about my room. But before I came to talk to you, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I should probably just tell my parents I appreciate what they've given me. Because I don't want what I'm about to say to you to sound like I'm not appreciative, that I'm not thankful for everything that I have. So I just want to say those things first. But what I did want to talk to you about is, my phone and my room. I know that you guys have plenty of reasons to look at my phone and to look at my room. Time out. You already told them that they paid for it, they bought it, you're grateful and you're appreciative to even have it. So you've taken that off the table. But by you telling them that you want to talk to them about your phone in your room, you're not demanding anything. You're offering a conversation and you're about to offer some negotiation. Real quick little tip, teenagers usually suck at negotiating, much better at demanding. If you want to be an adult and be taken serious by adults, you got to learn the art of negotiation. In the past, you made a mistake of just blurting out all your anger and frustration for them looking through your phone or looking through your room. But now that you're getting older and wiser, you're realizing you should just ask your parents what you should do or what you can do to earn their trust so that as you get older, they don't have to fear that you're going to do something wrong with the freedom of having your door closed or the freedom of having a phone. Little simple fact. It took some trust for your parents to give you your phone and to let you have your own space. But for you to keep it and for that freedom to continue to grow, you got to evolve the relationship. I don't know if this would work on your parents, but some of you teenagers out there, you may want to use this. You may want to say, hey, listen, I actually just YouTube something about how to talk to your parents about this, and I got this advice, which I thought was great advice. And tell them in the advice, this person who's a licensed therapist. Now, I'm not your licensed therapist. I am a licensed therapist, though. You can tell them that this therapist suggested that you guys pick 1 or 2 days a week where they will look at your phone and they will go through your room. And the reason why I'm suggesting 1 or 2 days a week, because it's better than every day of the week. Every day of the week doesn't show that they trust you at all. If they're going to give you your phone, if they're going to give you your own freedom in your room, every single day of the week to look through your stuff doesn't show that they trust you. It shows that they're scared. You want to get out of that. So tell your parents that this therapist guy said when he worked at group homes, foster homes, crisis treatment centers, psychiatric hospitals, places where they're really fearful of kids having stuff they weren't supposed to have or doing things they weren't supposed to do. Even in these environments, they would have one day, one specific time that we were supposed to go through everyone's stuff. We wanted to respect the freedom of these young people and give them the trust that we did like the things that they're doing, and we didn't want to accuse them of things. But we also did want to make sure that they were being safe and they weren't doing things that were inappropriate or that they weren't supposed to do. But here's how this works, and this is what I want you to tell your parents. If your parents come back and they tell you, well, if you know exactly what day we're going to be looking or when we're going to be looking, it'll be easier for you to cover everything up. Tell them that I said, that's wrong. Here's the trick. When you give a teenager their freedom for their room and for their phone, but you just pick one day where you're going to go through both those, you would think that they'd plan really well and strategize their whole entire week to make sure that they cover all their trails so that when that day happens, they don't get busted with anything. Let me tell you something about teenagers. And if you're a teenager listening to this, listen up really closely. You're not that good at covering your tracks. You're distracted. You're gonna tell your parents, hey, listen, use an example where you forgot to take out the trash or you forgot to cover your tracks before, or maybe you lied about, I don't know, something ridiculous around the house and they caught you. Tell them, I'm not the best track cover upper. I'm not the best hider from things. If you give me the freedom, it'll be just enough freedom for if I am doing something wrong or something I shouldn't be doing, I'm going to get busted for it. That is the best comeback. Your parents, if they need proof that you're not doing anything and you're actually not doing anything, this will be perfect because you got nothing to cover up. If you do things that are inappropriate or things you know your parents wouldn't like, hey, listen, they're giving you the freedom and the trust. Now it's up to you what you want to do with that. Give this a shot, you guys. The Jedi mind trick for today is called Captain Obvious. Like all Jedi mind tricks, it persuades people to think the way you'd want them to think and to do things that are more aligned with what you'd want them to do. And if you don't believe me, listen to him.